Hello everyone, it's Laffi Traffi. Chapter 1000 of One Piece just came out recently, which made me want to look back to where it all began. I got the first few box sets, and reading the first few chapters, I realized that there were a lot of differences. My first experience of the series was through the anime, where I caught up to around midway through Whole Cake Island, and then I switched over to the manga and have been reading weekly ever since. So this might have a few anime spoilers, but I'll keep the manga off the table at least. So with just the first few chapters, I found all the differences of the manga really interesting. So I hope to take on the enormous task of going throughout the entire series and comparing it from the manga to the anime. I hope this is something that everyone would be interested in watching, because I know I'm really excited to get into it and see what differences are maybe just minor inconsistencies, what are changes for no apparent reason, or even some in Romance Dawn change a lot of the characters and the tone of the setting as well. So I think there's something to get out of this series. Hopefully as we go, we'll get more and more episodes squished into each video, so I don't have to have hundreds and hundreds of videos. But we'll see. Anyway, this is Romance Dawn. Let's jump in. So the first thing you see is Gold Roger's execution. And in the manga, it's the first page of the first chapter, so you have to know it's important. You see how the pirate era was started, why is there such an influx of pirates on the seas, and of course, why Monkey D. Luffy is sailing. And of course, this first opening of We Are, even if it's not your favorite, it's definitely one of the top One Piece openings of all of them. It's a classic. The first episode, I'm Luffy, the man who's gonna be king of the pirates. It's actually the second chapter of the manga, whereas the first chapter showing all of Luffy's backstory with Shanks and the arm and the hat, but they don't show that until later. We'll get to learn all about Luffy's backstory in the anime later. They also don't show Luffy getting his scar at all. Now, soon after the episode starts, one of the lookouts see a pirate ship coming around the corner, and you learn that that is Alvida's ship. In the manga, she's actually just docked on an island. It might be one of her base islands that she has kind of her crew and some supplies. But then it's really weird how they tie that in, because then they have to find the barrel in the water, and they put it right next to the whirlpool. So this cruise liner is just chilling and sailing right next to a whirlpool. And you see in the beginning of the second chapter, Luffy hanging out on his boat next to a whirlpool with a barrel on it, so the manga doesn't really give too much suspense as to what could be in the barrel. Of course, Luffy jumps out of the barrel, smacks the guy out cold and whatnot, but as they're talking and, Kobe's totally looking up to Luffy and seeing how amazing he is, Kobe gets up the courage to show Luffy this tiny little boat that he made. And I was pretty surprised when I read the manga for the first time, having watched the anime first. Kobe actually had the determination to make this little escape boat. He ended up never being able to muster the courage to use it, but I think that's such great character development right up front for Kobe. Instead of being the scaredy cat completely, he actually did want to escape, and he built this boat. It took him 2 years, by the way. 2 years to build this boat, and he never had the courage to use it, which I don't know if that's more or against his scaredy cat nature. And to make matters worse, once Alvida finds out that there's a trespasser on her island, she comes storming through and finds them talking. She throws her club and smashes the boat in half, and Kobe's just like, oh my god, my boat! I never wanted to use it, but oh god, my boat! I've spent 2 years, and now, really, any chance of escape is totally smashed, literally right in front of his eyes. I think this would have been a really neat little character add-on for the anime to have incorporated in some way. So as Kobe and Luffy go to escape Alvida, in the anime, Luffy fights some fodder and whatnot, which is interesting, and it's pretty impressive how he's taking them all really easily. Now, in the anime, you do not know that he is rubber yet. This is the first time that you see him in his rubbery state, which is crazy because it was used on some fodder, and they could have used the scene from the manga where Alvida smashes her club on his head, and everyone is startled because they don't know, he's dead, there's no way. She has used that club to smash through walls, Kobe's boat. There's no way he's getting up from this, but of course, JK LOL, he's rubber, he bounces back, reels back, and punches her to God knows where. Now, in the manga, we do know that he's rubber, of course, because the very first chapter is Luffy getting the Gum Gum fruit with Shanks, but they still could have utilized that suspense in the anime since they didn't show that. They could have used that to make it a little bit more suspenseful and cool to find out that Luffy's rubber rather than just using some non-canon fighting maneuver for some fodder. But regardless, it was still a really funny scene, very Luffy-like, so I can't complain too much. And as the episode ends, we see a epic shot of Zorro with some rock music, really setting up the tone for his awesome entrance, where we go over to the second episode. Enter the Great Swordsman, Pirate Hunter Roanoa Zorro. Or, of course, should I say Zolo, because that's the actual official Viz translation, and I think I should respect the official copies, and so I will only be referring to him as I'm kidding. No. Now, in the beginning of the episode, after super dramatic poses from our resident swordsman, Kobe and Luffy go onto the island, they interact with the locals, and they meet Zorro, and pretty much everything is the same. The little girl goes to help Zorro, and when she tells the backstory of how Zorro was captured, it makes it seem more like Zorro took the place of the little girl and her mom, whereas in the manga it was just a short single panel where he just fought against Hamapo's dogs and got captured for that. Now, even though he was promised if he could withstand a month without food being tied up, he would be let go, in the manga it indicates that Helmeppo was going to execute Zorro in 3 days as planned. And in the manga, he's just sitting around, Luffy and Kobe walk over to him, Helmeppo's just bored, like, oh, I'm so bored, I'm Helmeppo, maybe tomorrow I'll eat breakfast and then go execute Zorro, I'm Helmeppo. And point is, whether you read or watch, Helmeppo's a shit. But moving on to Luffy and Zoro's interaction, it's all pretty spot on in the manga and the anime. However, one scene sticks out a little bit when Luffy runs off to fetch Zoro's swords. Luffy gets directions by Zorro. And the anime is not supposed to know how much of a gag spanning 1,000 chapters the fact that Zorro can't tell up from down is, but it's just really funny that they put this in. But it's not in the manga. He just runs off and goes to get the swords. But anyway, we find ourselves here at one of the first censorships of the anime. Kobe is desperately trying to untie Zorro as the Marines spot him from the top of the building where Morgan's is. Morgan's immediately orders them to shoot Kobe. Kobe gets shot, and that just really took me by surprise. It sets the scene that these Marines ordered around by Morgans are not afraid to shoot a child, and gives way more reason for Kobe to be frantically crying and freaking out. Overall, it just really adds to the tension, and again, takes out some development from Kobe, where he went from the scaredy little kid who built a boat and wouldn't even use it, to this more of a man who is trying to help Luffy and tell Zorro, Luffy's trying to help you, they're gonna execute you, I don't care what happens to me, I have to get you to help him because he's gonna be king of the pirates. And it just brings so much more character development to Kobe once more that the anime left out, and when you leave those two instances out, me at least, I thought Kobe was just kind of an annoying side character going along with Luffy. But after reading the manga, I can definitely say that I have more respect for the Kobe that's in the manga, and of course it helps to not hear his whiny ass voice in the anime. Anyway, we cut over to Zorro about to get shot, and we get a nice little glimpse of his backstory. We see Kuina and how he trained and was told that he was weak, but even though in the manga it shows his entire backstory about how Kuina falls down the stairs and he promises to take her sword and become greatest swordsman, it just shows the first half. We get the rest in We get the rest all the way in episode 19. So definitely a long-awaited finish to his backstory where you actually find out that Kuina is dead, but it still adds a lot of upfront character development and intrigue to Zoro's character that he has someone he is fighting for. And Luffy obviously sees this in Zoro as well as he jumps out the window and jumps in front of all the bullets that come flying at Kobe and Zoro as the episode ends with Luffy standing there declaring that he is going to be king of the pirates. On to the third episode, Morgan versus Luffy, who's the mysterious pretty girl. Right away we confirm that Zoro is indeed joining Luffy's crew. Then we go to Morgan's giving a lot of exposition and over-explanations about devil fruits and whether or not they exist, which I feel like he should, at his rank, know that they exist for sure, but that's more of a plot issue, so it'll just continue. This scene really made me laugh when I compared it directly from the manga to the anime. It's the part where Zoro is holding off all the Marines, and he looks to Luffy and says, "If I'm going to join your pirate crew, I have my own ambitions still, so if you ever get in the way of that, or make me lose sight of my dream, I want you to," it says, "commit harakiri," which is a samurai's death, similar to seppuku. So Zoro just says, kill yourself. Kill yourself if you think that you can ever take away my dream. And then in the anime, they still try to make it intimidating as Zoro is staring down Luffy, but instead the dialogue is, "If you ever make me lose sight of my dream, apologize to me." You get to apologize to me is exactly what he says. And it just really takes away from the severity and how serious Zoro is in this situation. It just made me laugh out loud that this threat, this direct, explicit threat, was just so watered down in the anime. Like, ooh, you get to apologize to me, ooh. But either way, Luffy's carefree attitude is just, yeah, sure, no problem. And he kicks away all the Marines. This is an entire 2-page spread in the manga, but then it just flies by in the anime. But either way, I think this is a really important scene because it really symbolizes Luffy's acceptance of Zoro's terms. And now that they're on the same page, they can go fight for their dreams together. Now, the ensuing clash is very panel by panel. The fight choreography is really on par with what was intended in the manga. The only one scene that they definitely omit from the anime is Morgan's orders anyone who doesn't want to fight to kill themselves, so they all actually hold their guns up and point it at their own heads. That's not shown in the anime, but luckily Luffy and Zoro are able to defeat Morgan's before anything can come of that. Another weird thing that they change is in the manga, Zoro only hasn't eaten for 9 days. In the anime, it's been 3 weeks. It's a big difference, and I see why they wanted to extend it for more drama purposes, but I'm just saying, like, that's a feat for sure. Love this little scene, by the way, about Nami introducing Buggy, and he's referred to as Buggy the Immortal, which I can't disagree, but it's just, I think it's the first and last time that he's ever referred to as that. But as they're getting ready to depart, Kobe gives a lot of more exposition about the Grand Line and the Calm Belt. He even mentions Gold Roger, which this picture right here is definitely what you envision Gold Roger to be, right? Especially even though they show the picture in the anime opening, but whatever. The dynamic of Zoro and Luffy towards the end, after Zoro sees that Luffy doesn't have a crew and he has a small boat, in the manga, he's just chill. He's vibing, he's going along with whatever Luffy wants to do, but in the anime, he's already showing that exasperation that Nami and the rest of the crew feel later of, oh my god, this is my captain, which it's funny, but I just kind of like the version of Zoro who doesn't give a crap. He's just, yeah, sure, we're gonna float along in a barrel. Sure, I don't know how to navigate, but hey, neither do you. Let's go sail for the One Piece. And similar to how they extended Zoro's starvation period from 9 days to 3 weeks, for some reason they also changed the Marines' punishment of not eating from 1 week in the manga to 3 days in the anime. So they do the opposite, which I don't really understand the purpose of that, but Anyway, the episode ends with Luffy and Zoro sailing off into the sunset, and that concludes the Romance Dawn arc and this video. Now, going forward, there will be less significant differences in each episode compared to the manga, so we can fit more episodes into each video, because there's a lot of episodes of One Piece, right? So there will definitely be no shortage of material. I mean, they're still coming out with it every week. Oh god. I'm never gonna be able to finish. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and if you want to see the next video and any of my future videos, subscribe. And let me know what you thought was the most significant difference of these episodes, or what surprised you the most. Now, this has been Laffi Traffi. Have a good week, follow your dreams, and check me next time. Bye!